carry from before. Memories gather over time, moments remembered, retold, and sometimes reshaped. Each person holds their own version of what has happened. Before me reflects on these private histories, the thoughts, recollections, and lingering impressions that shape how we arrive before another.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter! It doesn't matter. You've been thinking about it, so it's important. Making sense of things in your head before you could say it in open air. It's like you're walking on eggshells when you're with me. Where we could be making sense of things together. Like you said, building it piece by piece. But with me, it's just, why do you have to make everything so clear? Everything. Just accept the haze for a moment. You said it yourself. Sometimes we have to go through the uncertainty to get to somewhere clear. I'm sorry, but I hate it. I hate it when you abandon it rather than explaining it. It may be easier for you, but I'm the one left with all the uncertainty.
I've been thinking about that moment again. Not because it was important. I mean, I don't think it was important. But sometimes the smaller moments stay longer, don't they? The ones that don't announce themselves. They just happen. And then later you realize they settle somewhere in you. Inside. I keep trying to remember exactly what I was saying. I have started explaining something. No, not explaining. That's not quite right. Trying to share thoughts, maybe. Something I had been carrying around for a few days, turning over, testing from different angles. Do you know that feeling? When a thought makes sense to you privately, but you're not sure yet if it makes sense in the open air. So you say it carefully, slowly, almost like you're building it while you speak. I think that's what I was doing. Building it. Piece by piece. And I remember thinking, if I just get to the end of the sentence, the shape of it will become clear. But that's when you said, you're thinking about this too much. You're thinking about this too much. I know it sounds like a very small sentence because it is 4 or 5 words, depending on how you count them. And I agreed with you immediately. I said yes. I said something like, yeah, maybe I am. And at the time I thought the moment had passed. Or sometimes I wonder, was the thought actually too complicated? Or was I just in the middle of it? Because when you're inside a thought, it always sounds unfinished, messy. You have to move through the uncertainty to get somewhere clear. But if someone stops you halfway, well then, all that's left is the uncertainty. And I think that's the part that stayed with me, because now when I start saying something that feels tentative, when I hear myself beginning a sentence with, maybe it's like, or I've been wondering whether, there's a small moment where I hesitate. Not long, just long enough to ask myself, is this one of those thoughts? A thought that, the kind that's easier to abandon than to explain. And then sometimes I just push through it. But sometimes I don't. I just stop the sentence halfway and we talk about something else. Something simple. Something that doesn't require quite so much thinking.
Do you know how much a thought takes? Say, maybe more than a couple of seconds? Less than 10? Let's say a substantial thought takes about 5 seconds. At 0.0035 calories per second, that's 0.02 calories per thought. So how many bowls of ramen noodles are good for thought? At 400 calories per block and 150 noodles per block, that's 2.67 calories per ramen noodle. Assuming the average length of the noodle is 33 cm long, we will find that there is 0.08 calories per centimeter of ramen noodle, which means that for every thought, you burn about 0.25 centimeter of ramen noodle. So I guess what that means is, for as long as you're alive and thinking, you will need time and energy. So for as long as I am alive, I would love to burn ramen noodles with you, anytime.
But we're different. We aren't like how we used to be. The path doesn't split, we do. So how do you want to be perceived today? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick, tick, tick tock. The ground feels different. Maybe because we're walking differently. Different. 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 I suppose time answers that for us, little by little. But it feels like a wave sometimes. People coming and going, people crossing paths and then drifting off again. But you've been stepping out of line. But it was drawn for a reason. It was drawn before I knew how to walk. So please, don't forget me. Don't forget, don't leave me, don't leave, don't. But we don't have time. Time is something that we don't have. Time, stop. The ground feels different because it finally is. But we're different. We aren't like how we used to be. The path doesn't split, we do. So how do you want to be perceived today? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick, tick, tick tock. The ground feels different, but maybe because we're walking differently. Different. I suppose time answers that for us little by little. But it feels like a wave sometimes. People coming and going, people crossing paths and then drifting off again. But you've been stepping out of line. But it was drawn for a reason. It was drawn before I knew how to walk. So please, don't forget me. Don't forget. Don't leave me. Don't leave. Don't. But we don't have time. Time is something that we don't have. Time. Stop. The ground feels different because maybe, just maybe, it finally is. The ground, it feels different. It is different, finally different.